Good morning. How are you, Chandler? It's good to see you. Or not see you, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So, yesterday was a day or a year. Yeah. How's everybody holding up? Hang on a moment. Okay. There we go. So, could have been better. Yeah. I know, guys. I know. I had a good cry about it last night, too. Yeah. This isn't what I wanted for you. It isn't what any of us wanted for you. There are a lot of very, very sad teachers out there right now. Um, I don't know what to tell you, except that as far as we know right now, digital learning is still going on. So I got you. Okay. I'm not going to let you fall. All right. We're going to do what we can to salvage what we can. Yeah. And I will 100% figure out a way to say goodbye to you guys before you go off on your grand adventures next year. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe when we get the go ahead sometime this summer, which knock wood, I'm hoping that we do. Maybe sometime this summer, we could have like a meetup at, I don't know, Kennesaw Mountain Park, you know? I don't live far from there, and it would be nice to see you guys. It'd be outside too, so if we're still worried about transmission, that might be nice. We could have a picnic. Yeah, we'll figure it out. And I had a friend of mine tell me last night if ever there was a time for seniors to enjoy homecoming next year, homecoming is going to have to be a massive party for you. Like, we really do want you to come back. Yeah. And we'll figure out something for graduation. You know, school districts have done things where they've done graduation off the normal timetable before. When there have been disasters, like, a school gets hit by a tornado, that sort of stuff. And they've done it for groups that had it like suspended for other reasons, like World War II and things like that. We've gone back and done graduations after the fact. So I can't imagine that we wouldn't, that we'll do something. We just don't know what it is right now. And Mr. Moody and everybody is meeting virtually today to try and figure out what the statements out there. Okay, good. That that what the state's guidelines on this mean for us and how we're going to approach it as a community. So like as soon as we have anything, we will let you guys know. Yeah? Okay. But what do you need from me today, guys? What do you want? Do you just need to chat? You just need to chat. Yeah? Okay. All right. So how did you get through last night? What did you do to make yourself happy? Or, oh, hang on. Have you chatting is a good distraction? Okay. All right. No, 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 no. Here. Have you been checking out Mr. Moody's Instagram today and Mr. Ald's Instagram today? Have you been looking at this like Marvel? I mean, have you seen this? Have you seen that? It's Mr. Ald. It's amazing. Yeah. It is a delight. And I may have submitted a few pictures myself. I have nothing quite that is that amazing to offer you. I really don't. I mean, I am sure there are pictures like that of me, but they are not scanned in and not digital. So I have curated pictures that are slightly humiliating, but like I can live with them sort of stuff. So yeah. Mhm. Morning, Alani. Morning, Molly. How are you? Molly, I saw you on a TikTok. Nice job, lady. Yeah. See, here's the deal. Okay. Like our pictures are particularly Oh, you watched Neruda, which I don't think is that the movie that I told it. You didn't, not Il Pastino. You watched Neruda. Is it a movie? Oh, it is. It has Gael Garcia Bernal in it. Oh, I do love him. Ooh, interesting. Ah, the movie version, not the documentary. Yeah, yeah. I've not watched that one, which is strange because usually I will watch anything that has Gael Garcia Bernal in it because yeah, I have my favorites. Yeah. But at any rate, yeah, I've been laughing all morning at this picture. Like it is giving me so much joy. And then I just, part of me is like, that's deeply unfair because the thing is that like Mr. Ald is a good bit old, not a good bit. He's a bit older than I am. Um, but we didn't have cell phones like period until like college pretty much, maybe a little bit after that for him, and they didn't have like photographic capability, which meant that if you were going to take a picture it was like a real film picture and everything, and so that meant that you had 24 exposures on a roll, so you didn't waste them unnecessarily, and you certainly couldn't double check and see like whether or not they looked any good. So thus, my childhood pictures are, first of all, less plentiful than yours, as are my teenage pictures. Thank goodness. And also, they are um, usually a lot more posed and also not always real great because you couldn't really know, right? So I was like, when Mr. Ald was like, we need pictures from your senior year of high school, I was digging through and I was like, I don't have that many. And then I was like, oh, that's sad. And then I was like, oh no, that wasn't sad. That was okay. That's all right. I'm okay with it. Whereas you guys have like every moment of your adolescence documented. I'm not sure how I feel about that for you. Like, I have conveniently forgotten most of seventh grade, and I feel like that was a healthy decision. But I'm not sure if you can do that when everything's online. Yeah? What do you think? I mean, like, there might be one picture out there with me wearing headgear because that is the thing that happened. But there's only like one, and it is definitely not online, and it never will be because my mother doesn't know how to scan things, and that's okay. All of middle school is a blur for you at this point, too. Yeah, yeah, it was not exactly the highlight of, my 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 academic career, my academic and social life. Middle school was not the move. Well, there's no other move. Like my mother used to tell me, it's kind of like you put your kid on one end of the conveyor belt and you sort of hope that they come out the other side because it's just a thing that happens and there's only so much you can do, right? If you had the ability to send a message back to yourself in like seventh grade or sixth grade from right now, what would it be? What would you tell yourself? Leave your hair alone. Lady, I do remember that blonde hair at the beginning of ninth grade. Yeah, it was a choice. Don't be friends with the people you were friends with. Do not worry about other people who don't worry about you. Yeah, hey, that's wise. Everybody doesn't have to like you. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Breathe and be calm. Yeah, that's I've been telling myself that a lot lately, you know. But it is what it is. Que sera, sera. Yeah. You went through red, pink, blue, and blonde hair. Oh my goodness, lady. I feel like I want pictures. It was not good. Fair enough. Mhm. I've never dyed my hair any weird color because I would have to bleach it out first and then dye it on top of it because mine's so dark. And I'm just real lazy when it comes to stuff like that. So I would wind up with terrible roots really quickly. And I don't have the time for that. Part of me is like, that would be really fun. But the other part of me is realistic and realizes that no, I can barely manage to remember to like schedule regular haircuts at like decent intervals. So no, dyeing my hair some sort of wacky color is not a good move at this point. Although who knows? We're trapped here. It's like day 27 of captivity. It's not 27, it's less than that, but it feels like that. Mhm. You feel like if you bleached your hair, it would dye? Yeah, yeah. If you have like, especially, yeah. My hair would probably be okay because my hair's texture is really smooth just because it is. Um, but especially if you have like dry hair or hair with a lot of curly textures, it would, yeah, probably not be great. Yeah. On the other hand, I might not have to worry about like bleaching my hair and then dyeing it because I'll tell you what, the gray is coming in quite nicely right now. Turns out that the stress of the global pandemic and like, not being able to do my job normally kind of stresses you out just a wee bit. And so as a result, I have been noticing that the gray is coming in. I'm going to name each one after you. Yeah. I'm kind of hoping that I get sort of like not to kind of lean into Chandler's like Cruella DeVille obsession from yesterday, but I'm kind of hoping that I get a nice streak. Maybe like Rogue from X-Men. That'd be nice. That'd be cool. I've never done wax hair color either. I'm very boring when it comes to my hair. My mother used to tell me that if I would eat the crusts on my sandwiches, it would make my hair curl, and she lied. She lied. I ate so many sandwich crusts when I was a kid because she told me that. Well, I have to do some shopping today, but it will be from that would be so much fun to try right now. Well, I mean, you could jump online and see if maybe you can order some. Although I have, like I said yesterday, I have kind of mixed feelings about that because I don't want um delivery workers to have to do more than they absolutely need to right now, because I feel kind of guilty about that. But I was doing some online shopping last night because I have to, because it's my sister's birthday coming up. Happy birthday. We got you a pandemic, but it's her birthday coming up. So I'm trying to figure out what I can send to her, because she works for FEMA. And so she's working around the clock right now, and she's doing it distance right now for the moment, until they call her in on the 24-hour shifts. So she's at home and stressed out and everything, and so I've been trying to figure out what I can send to her. I don't know, trying to figure that out, because I don't want it to be anything ridiculous right now. Like, kind of want it to be stuff that's sort of useful. Yeah. Any ideas? What do you get somebody who is in crisis management during a pandemic? Yeah, birthdays are interesting right now. You just canceled yours. Is this 18 too, Kate? I'm sorry. That really sucks. I'm hoping the country will be open for my birthday at some point, because mine's in the summer. So I'm hoping by then we won't be back to normal, but I'm hoping that we'll be at least to the point where I can go over and see my parents. That'd be nice. Meet up with some friends, a safe 6 feet away. I had to run an errand yesterday, and I wound up running into another teacher. He just said, quarantine. Oh, that is sad. Well, you know what? I mean, like, we have to come up with other things that we can do, right? Like, how do you make this bearable? Like, I read a really great article. I'll have to find it for you guys. I might have shared it with you before on here. But I read a really great article about 2 weeks ago about thinking about your responses to quarantine, um, and naming it for what it is. I mean, like, this is a form of grief, right? Like, you're losing something, and it's okay to be sad about that. And some of us are losing a lot. And some of us may know people who are sick. Some of us may be worried about family members who are healthcare workers, or other essential workers. And so, like, and then the rest of us have lost sort of our individual freedoms, right? For the sake of the public good. And it is right, I think, that we do that we take care of each other like this. But it does mean that we have to give things up, and so it's okay to be sad about that. Like, and so you do kind of move through the stages of grief, right? Like, initially it's denial, like, this isn't happening, and then you're angry about it because it's not fair. And you kind of try to, like, come up with bargaining. If I do this for 10 days, can we go back to normal? And then you have to kind of, like, recognize that this is what it is. So how do we move beyond it, right? So yeah, it's sad having to give up your birthday, like, and everything that you should be able to do sucks. But birthdays, especially things like 18th birthdays, are about ritual and transition. So that means that we have to kind of, like, think about what we do with ritual, right? So if your ritual if your ritual is, that you have a big party and everybody gets together and you bake a cake. Okay. Well, obviously can't have a big party, obviously can't get lots of people together. But what can you do that is similar to that? And what can you do that is celebratory and different, um, within the household where you are, right? Like, how can you make that work? Um, my parents and my sister and I have decided that every Thursday night is family video chat night. Like, we talk on the phone basically every day, because I want to make sure that they're okay, and it matters to me. You cut your hair? Oh my gosh, Kate, I need to see a picture. Oh, we need to see a picture. Did you cut it yourself? Are we getting into the quarantine hair cutting portion? Oh, this is exciting. And or terrifying, right? Like, how short are we talking? I have to say, like, I was dying laughing. I have a friend of mine who she was a teacher of mine initially, but it turns out that like after you graduate and give it enough years, like that difference in age and experience starts to like shrink down. Because I'm a teacher now and she's a teacher now, and like she's in her 40s and I'm in my 30s, and like it's fairly normal. But at any rate, she and I are pretty good friends. And a couple of years ago, she moved to Italy to teach English. So Italy, and she's been locked down there for a while, and she didn't say anything. She just posted a picture on Facebook a couple of days ago about, hey, let me see if I can find it for you guys. Uh, just a random picture. And I was like, oh no, things are not going well because, here, let's find her. Yeah. Yeah, she just posted this. And I was like, oh no. Oh no, things are dangerous. That's a dangerous choice. Like, that's a lot of haircut. Yeah. Yeah. So she did it on her own. Mm-hmm. And she has not yet posted a picture of what the finished haircut looks like, which makes me suspect that it ain't great. Okay, how do I make whipped coffee? What do I do? Since apparently this is a thing, I've heard it from multiple students now. So what is it? Because I am a very old fashioned coffee person. My coffee is coffee and it is black. And no sugar. Ever. It's foul. Oh, Kate, it's so cute. I like it. That's good. It's very good. I'm not going to hold it up without her permission. But Kate's picture is very cute. It's about shoulder length. It looks good. Let's see here. No, no. If it's got sugar, then I'm out, man. Out, out. No, no sugar. I may make some iced coffee later, but no, we don't. In this house, we do not put sugar in coffee. Unless we're having cafés cubanos, and then you like then it's a different story altogether because that is entirely like separate. Let's see here. Yeah. I have never had Vietnamese coffee. I think I would like it though. My uncle, my aunt and uncle, their son is he's Vietnamese, and they've always stayed in very good contact with his birth family, and they travel to Vietnam whenever they can to go and visit, and my uncle is a professor of religion out in California, and he's a such a weird combination. He's a Presbyterian minister and a practicing Buddhist, which is like really hard for people to wrap their heads around, but like it totally makes sense to me. And so he's done a lot of scholarship in Vietnam because of the presence of Buddhism there. At any rate, and so he's really big into Vietnamese coffee, and I just have never had a chance to have it yet. So, but I love like Turkish coffee, and Ethiopian coffee is really good, and yeah, cafes cubanos are my favorite thing. Like tiny little shots of super sweetened espresso. It's like thick as mud and so strong, and you just throw it back like a shot, and it is amazing. It's so good. You guys have been baking a lot, yeah? Let's see. I didn't do a whole lot of cooking yesterday. I wasn't in the mood. Like it wasn't happening. So there were sandwiches yesterday. It wasn't a lot of creative cooking stuff. I made some really good cornbread the other day though. That was nice. Usually I'm pretty quick when I cook because I'm usually wiped out when I get home from school. So it's usually stuff that I can throw together really quickly. And so it has actually been nice to be able to have like complicated recipes and everything, things that need to sit for a while, things that need to like marinate or, that I need to let the bread rise. Like that's really nice to have that time. Um, oh, Chandler, you don't even know, kid. There was a a coffee shop in Athens that isn't there anymore when I was an undergrad. And I went there all the time because it was the first 2 years I went, first 3 years. Yeah. First 3 years I went to a coffee shop on College Avenue uh, in Athens called Blue Sky, which there's a Blue Sky bar in Athens now. It's a different thing entirely. But it was a coffee shop and it was amazing. It was so good. It was like hole in the wall sort of place. It didn't have a door. It just had a giant like garage door that opened over the storefront. And when the weather was nice, like the whole front of the coffee shop was just open. Bizarrely, this was back in the day when you could smoke inside. And so the smoking section, because there was one, was downstairs, but like the floor was wooden. And so like cigarette smoke would drift up. So I would spend all day there, like studying and everything. And you'd come out and your clothing would smell like a combination of roasted coffee beans and cigarette smoke. It was really bad, but like this is back in the day. But I guess during my junior year, I guess, whatever, my third year there, they went out of business, and I was so bummed. But another coffee shop opened a little bit further in Athens called Hot Corner. And Hot Corner was open 24 hours a day, which was glorious because it meant that I could lug everything that I needed for my thesis writing and everything up to Hot Corner and just camp out at a table and work for hours and hours and hours, which I did. And my favorite drink when I was trying to meet a deadline on writing my thesis was something that they had called You'll Never Sleep Again. And it was like, think of like a venti coffee at Starbucks and then add another 8 or 10 ounces to it. It was this enormous thing of coffee. And then they added 5 shots of espresso to it. And like they weren't kidding. Like you would never sleep again. You had that and you could hear your heart. It was so bad. But yeah, I wrote most of my thesis there doing like with endless amounts of You'll Never Sleep Again. It was a terrible decision, terrible life choice. Everybody's got to make them. Yeah. Or just 1 cup of mate. Man, like, dude, when it gets a little bit warmer out, you're not going to see me with coffee. You're going to see me with my guampa drinking mate, like for real. Mhm. My sister got me hooked on it while I was visiting her when she was in the Peace Corps, and so I legitimately have boxes of mate in my pantry, and I have a guampa that I use. But I don't drink it hot. Okay. Hey, Livia. How are you? Let's see. I have to double check and see if anybody else has posted regrettable pictures on Instagram for Throwback Thursday. I'm deeply invested in seeing everybody's fascinating pictures. I still think Mr. Ald's might be one of the best images I have ever seen in my life. Yeah, so like yeah, 5 shots of espresso, you start doing this and you like and you have to remember like again, um I know that Kate made like this will make you happier. Again, back in the day, this is early 2000s, so like yeah, you could get a laptop, but they were enormous and insanely heavy and very expensive. So I didn't have a laptop. I had a desktop back in my dorm room. So if I wanted to use the computer while I was out or something, I needed to hit up like one of the computer labs and use one of the publicly available ones. So I actually wrote most of my thesis and most major like seminar papers and things like that, at least partially by hand, and then like took it back and typed it up from there. So like you'd go and I'd have, stacks of library books or, stacks of papers and reading packets and things like that. And then what I would do in the coffee shop was just like organize it, be like, okay, how do I put this all together? What's the structure? What's my lead in and all of that sort of thing, you know? I didn't do it. A lot of people did it on note cards, but like that just seemed too dangerous to me. What happens if you drop your cards and they get out of order? Then you have to play like pick up sticks with a million different cards and try to make them make sense. That's no good. It worked better for me in a notebook, but everybody else's was different. So whenever y'all complain about like writing papers, I'm like, you don't even know. It is the privilege of every generation to get to denigrate the younger generation's like ability to do things easier. But I'm glad y'all have the advantage because it wasn't fun. It does change the process though. Let's see here. I haven't checked the Google map in a bit. I'm going to do that. I want to see what choices have been made recently. Also, I do have to apologize for like the sound quality on today's videos. I made those like 4 years ago, and you'll notice like I'm introducing myself as like Carol Galloway from North Cobb High School. That's because I specifically made those videos not just for my class, but also for some other comparative government and politics teachers who like didn't have any background on Mexican history. And I was like, okay, let me do you a solid and I'll go ahead and do you some lectures. So that's why they have my name all over everything. But yeah, I was very happy yesterday to remember that was one of the few bright spots yesterday was to remember that I had those. And so I wouldn't have to like record all of those. That made me happy. Let's see here. Any new pins from yesterday? No, I don't see them. Here, I'm going to drop you guys the map. Here's the map. If you haven't already told us where you're going and you know, please add a pin. Mhm. All right. So has anyone already had a chance to watch some of the videos for today? Do you have any questions about content? Let's see here. I can look at stats. And I can find out a lot of specifics about stats and what you're clicking on and what you're not. Interesting. Today, we've had visitors to the blog from Finland and from Turkey. So fascinating. You have yet to drop a pin because you have commitment issues. Well, what's your decision bouncing between right now, Livia? What are your options? Or do you just want to keep it quiet? Yeah, you have time. You don't have to know right now. Let's see here. Would appear that the person from Finland is looking at my Brexit materials. Fascinating. Okay. All right. This is the nice thing about having my own website because I can get like really good data on specific things. UGA and University of North Georgia, is that right? Yeah. You want to do FBI work? Sweet. That's cool, Livia. Good job. I approve. One gave you money, so easy. There we go. Yup. Money is the deciding factor here. Yeah, absolutely. Mhm. Yeah, do not make this like more expensive than it has to be, right? Especially not right now. We're, kind of all trying to figure it out together. Um, it we'll get through it. Mhm. Oops. Cancel. No, don't do that. I was almost about to close out of everything. That would have been really bad. You do support the worst SEC team. Chandler, like whenever we play Vanderbilt, like for real, man, I just sit there and I go, "Oh, you have a team. It's so cute." On the other hand, Nashville's a really great town. It really is. It's delightful. And there's so many really beautiful things to do there. The university medical system is really excellent. I very nearly went to Vanderbilt. Like, I got a couple of scholarships to it, and like we went and visited, and I was like, "Oh, their history program is amazing, and like this could be good." And I was talking with my mother the other day about it, about college acceptances for you guys and everything, and she said, "Yeah, you know, I remember taking you up there for a visitation weekend, and I remember us walking through, a residency building like parking lot, and I remember thinking all of these undergraduate cars are a lot more expensive than anything we could afford. It's a pricey place to go to school, but if you got the money and you've got the scholarships, man, go for it. It's a great place." Mhm. You're so glad to be a lot closer, and it won't be as cold, Chandler. Yeah. I know your mother was talking about like having to buy you hand warmers. Ann Arbor is nice. Yeah. I lived up there for 2.5 years. And then again, I mean, like I lived up there when I was a kid for about a year. I lived in Ypsilanti, right outside of Ann Arbor. I lived in Ypsi. Um, but Ann Arbor's a great town. It has so many cool things, but it's also, again, it's so pricey, man. It's an expensive place to live. So, Christina, have you been up to Ann Arbor? Do you have family up there? You hate being cold. Mhm. Well, Chandler, you would have hated like when I was in grad school. I there was one February when I lived up in Michigan where the high for the entire month didn't get above 12. Your sister goes to UMich. Oh, gotcha. Okay, and your mom's from Detroit. I love Detroit. I really do. The architecture is so beautiful. It's like that really beautiful 1930s Art Deco. The Detroit Institute of Art is just astounding. And it is full of amazing works by Diego Rivera, one of my very favorite artists. Um, but yeah, I lived actually just down if your sister goes to UMich, you would have dropped. You could not. There were days, man, I'd walk outside and I'd be like, "Oh, it's warmer today. I can tell." And I'd check the temperature and it'd be like 4. And I'd be like, "Yeah, it's warmer today. Yesterday was 2." You know? Like you can feel every degree when it gets to that point. But yeah, Christina, I lived over in Carytown, in Ann Arbor. I lived right down the street from Zingerman's. Mhm. Oh wow, Mr. Moody is going full awkward on our pictures here. These are amazing. Oh wow, these are so good. Is that Miss Johnson? I think that's Miss Johnson. I'm so sorry. I keep looking at Instagram because I find it too funny. Oh, she lives on North Campus. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Yeah, I lived over by the old campus area. Because that is where the history world lives. History department was kind of like right in the buildings across from the law school. So that and the library was my home. The the library at like there is nothing I love more than university libraries. University libraries are the best. They are so wonderful. Like they are magical portals and everything. And the UMich one, I love the libraries at UGA too. I love any university library. They are delightful and fun. And whenever I'm in a town and like there's a university there, if I like walk the campus, the first place I hit up is the library just because they are happy places for me. Um, but the UMich library is delightful in part because it used to be closed stack, which um, heck yeah, NYU's library is amazing. But UMich's library used to be closed stack, which is how a lot of university libraries used to work. So what would happen is you would go to the card catalog and you would flip through and you would find the card for the book that you wanted. You couldn't pull it out. You could pull it up and kind of hold it there, and then you had to make note of the number and the title and the author. And then you would take your little slip of paper and you'd go to the front desk where the librarians were, and you'd say, "I want this book." And then they would go back into the stacks and get it for you. And then they'd bring it to you, and then you would be allowed to sit in the library. You could check it out possibly depending on what book it was, but you could sit in the library and you get to sit in these amazing reading rooms. And Michigan's is just like astounding. Let me see if I can find you a picture of it. It's like going to Hogwarts. Oh, yep, there it is. It's just kind of amazing. Oh, is that? Oh, hang on. Come on. Can I just do copy link address? No, that's just going to take you here again. I just want the picture, dang it. This is why I really wish I could do screen share with you, but alas, I cannot. Can I just get... Whoops. Yeah, there we go. Here. Yeah, that's the reading room. So like you'd go and you'd ask them to like pull the book, and then you can go to the reading room, and it's for real like Hogwarts. And being a history person, like I lived there. Like that was home. It's really amazing. But the thing is today, like the library isn't closed stack, which means that you can just kind of like, you get to do what you would normally do. You look up on the computer what book you're looking for, what like magazine or what journal, and then it gives you a number and it tells you kind of like where it is in the building. And then you get to go on a quest. And it is truly a quest, man. It is like it is a quest to find things in the University of Michigan's library and in like any university library, because they've been added onto so many times. Like at the Michigan library, my favorite thing was that there were half floors. Yeah, there was like the third floor, and then there was the third and a half floor, because they built an addition and the floors didn't line up. So like there's a third and a half floor. There's also like a second like annex building that you can get to from the original building, but it's so convoluted as to how you get there that when you get off of the elevators on particular floors, there are lines painted on the floor to show you how to get places. It's amazing. Like it is legitimately possible to get lost there, which is kind of glorious. Yeah. So yeah, university libraries, my favorite thing in the world. They're so great. Yeah, Christina, this is going to be super embarrassing, but I totally and apologetically did not realize that Victoria was your sister. Whoops. I am either really bad about confusing siblings for siblings, like with Cole and his brother, but they look so much alike. I should have figured that out, because now that I think about it, like Christina, you and Victoria have very similar voices. And I suppose you do look alike. I'm sure you do. I'm sure if I saw you next to each other, I'd be like, yeah. But like now that I think about it, yeah, your voice is really similar to your sister. I should have realized that. I am not very smart sometimes. Well, the good thing is that I haven't been calling you by your sister's name for like the past year, so that's good. Oh well. I had a student several years ago. I actually taught all three of the siblings, but the two sisters looked so like each other. It was Erica and Natalie Len, and man, it was, it, you know, like they were in my home rooms, like over the course of years and everything. I knew who they were and everything, but I just could not get their names straight. It was really, really embarrassing. Yeah. How does she like it up at Michigan? She's surviving? She's doing science stuff, right? She was a science-y type person and a chorus person. She loves it but hates the cold. So say we all. Wait, is that Miss Essenberg? Did she have blonde hair? Hang on. Hang on. What? What even is that? I'm so sorry. I'm enjoying like the terrible prom pictures. And there's a shot of Mr. Turchin with hair. Communication and media. Why did I think science? Was it because she did like some stuff with ASR in terms of science? Am I just hallucinating at this point? I've been teaching too long, Christina. Hang on. Yep. Yes, that is indeed Miss Johnson. Look, it's Miss Johnson. It's so great. High school was not, but no, she likes science and math, but really likes marketing. She would be really great at that. I'm so glad she's doing well. Yeah. I would tell her to like look out for some of my friends who still teach up that way. But alas, you're liking the throwback pictures too. They are so terrible, man. They're so bad. Oh well. What can we do? The pictures are worth yeah. Usually like they have to beg us to get these things in the yearbook. Oh god, yearbooks. What are we going to do about that? Well, we'll figure it out. But usually they have to bug us constantly about this, and we're all like, we don't want them in the yearbook. Like nobody, but like desperate times. A little bit of personal humiliation if it makes you guys laugh is good. Yeah. What is the person from Finland? No, from Turkey looking at? Very confused. Seniors can have a little humiliation as a treat. Yes. Yep. Yeah, we need some. I mean, like we're gonna take a lot of laughter on this one, but you know, you can have a little bit of like my dignity can be sacrificed on the altar of making you guys like a little bit happier today because it sucks. Yeah. I am still utterly astounded that I didn't realize you two were related, Christina. It's like today, I was today years old when. Mm. This is always really humiliating when this sort of thing happens. Yeah. Oh, well. So, what are your game plans for today, guys? How are you going to keep your head up today? How long have I been teaching comparative government and politics? I've only been teaching comparative government and politics since 2016, which that was a fun year to like break into this one. So this is year four. Four? 2016. Yeah. Um, Yeah, this is year 4 for me on this one. But before that, I taught AP. My like position in Magnet was I taught nothing but AP World. Because my primary background is in history. Like I don't have a degree in political science, but it was, but most of the history I studied was 20th century political history. So I have kind of like that way in. And then I also have a certification to teach poli sci and to teach government. Because when I was getting my certification to be a teacher, I was like, let's see what tests I can take and pass without having any background in it. So poli sci it is. So what happened was when the previous, did you guys have Miss Biddy? No, you wouldn't have. Maybe. I can't remember. Did you guys have Miss Biddy? She used to teach U.S. government and leadership with Coach Frondorf. And she was our department lead, and then she retired. And when she retired at the end of 2015, 2016 school year, Mr. Stevenson came knocking on my door and was like, "Hey, we need someone to teach the government portion of the senior bundle. And I hear tell that you know Mexican politics." And I was like, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, she would have retired, I believe, the summer before you guys started. But Mr. Stevenson was like, I hear tell you know Mexican politics. Would you like to teach this class? And I was like, not really. I like AP World. AP World is my baby. And he was like, well, we need somebody to teach AP Comparative Government and Politics. And nobody else wants to do it. And I think you could. And I was like, mm-hmm, okay. What are the other case studies I would have to teach? And then he listed them off, and I was like, I know nothing about them. And so then I spent a summer teaching myself the course because that's what you do sometimes. So, yeah. So, your sister, if like Catalina, did your sister graduate if she was older than a sophomore starting in 2011? I wouldn't have taught her because 2011 was the first year that I taught at North Cobb, and I taught sophomores. So if she was a junior or senior that year, then I wouldn't have taught her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my first year teaching, I lucked out, man. I always luck out with you guys. Like, general rule of thumb with teaching magnet kids is that I just have to not get in your way. So she graduated in 2013 or 14. Then she was probably a junior or senior when I started teaching, which means I didn't teach her. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't my part of the alphabet for a magnet homeroom. That wasn't my group. So I did not know her. But yeah, no, a general rule of thumb with teaching magnet students for me is just like my job is to point you in the right direction and then stay the heck out of your way, and just try not to screw it up. And I wound up with an amazing group of kids my first year teaching. They are all of you guys are always very, very special, but that group in particular, very proud of them. One of them is running for political office right now, and I'm very, very thrilled for him. Yeah, it is cool. He has a real shot. I'm hoping he does well. I mean, whenever the primaries occur, right now it looks like doing them on the 19th is still something that they're going to do in May. Although you should have seen that the state has decided to go ahead and mail out everybody, or at least right now, that's what they're pushing for. There's some inconsistency on the issue, but there is the notion right now that there would be uh, everybody who's a registered voter in the state would get an absentee ballot mailed to them. So make sure you're registered, check your mail, and if anything changes, pay attention to the newspapers and local news. Yeah. Has anyone helped their parents or head of household fill out their census? You sat next to your mom while she was doing it and then got distracted. Did you see any interesting questions or like stuff that she was kind of like trying to figure out how to answer? Because I know everybody feels like, sometimes the race and ethnicity questions are really troubling to people or like trying to figure it out. I haven't sent mine in yet. I need to do that. That's on my list. Maybe this weekend. I need to do that. And I need to do my taxes. But I don't want to do either of them just because they're fiddly and I have limited attention span right now. When you pick one, it wants you to specify. You filed your taxes and you're getting a whole $28 in return. Hey, take that $28, kid. Like, that's yours. You take it. And if you're like, I don't know what I need to use it for, donate it to a food bank. Yeah? I've kind of run through the taxes in my head right now, and I think I should be getting a refund. I think I adjusted it properly this year. Who knows? We'll find out. I'm not the best financial planner in the world. I'm okay, but I'm not the best. Dr. Rich is better than I am at this. Speaking of, have you seen Dr. Roach's picture? You should look on on Mr. Ald's Instagram for Dr. Roach's picture. It's pretty great. They're sending you a check for $3. And you're like, how much did that cost in terms of postage? How much of that? Yeah, that's always the fun bit, right? Mhm. My neighbor is out walking her dog right now, and like, I guess we've all just got to the point in our captivity where we've just decided that like dressing like humans is optional entirely because it's 11:30 on a Thursday. Is it Thursday? Hang on, I forget. Is it Thursday? I feel like it's Thursday. It is Thursday. It's 11:30 on a Thursday morning, and she's out there uh, in a bathrobe and pajamas. Whatever, man. I do not blame her. Mhm. Quarantine fashion. It is what it is. I am considering I've got to figure out like what I am doing over spring break because I have to keep myself occupied because if I don't, then my brain gets funny. So I've got to have like a plan and stuff. And one of my favorite things that I used to do with my AP art history kids, and maybe I'll send like challenges out to you guys too, is what I used to do with my AP art history kids was I would make them do tableau vivants. And if you don't know what tableau vivants are, it's where you try to recreate a famous work of art by like posing in a particular way and dressing and creating it. And like I would have them do everything from like really extensive sort of ones where it was like a group presentation and they had to get the lighting right and the backdrops and all sorts of stuff and do the elaborate costuming, to sort of like instant tableaus where like you draw a piece of work and then you have like 10 minutes to come up with it and you've got to like get the framings as best you can and then just improvise props. And I am thinking what I might do over the break is try my hand at some tableau vivants on my own. Do like maybe the Dutch masters and see if I can recreate some paintings. That would be quite fun. I'm not sure how to do it. I think I'd have to use my actual I have a good camera that I can set on a timer because I live alone, so there's no one to take the photograph for me. So I have a good camera that I can put on a tripod and set on a timer, and so I might try that. That might be what I entertain myself with, maybe like one tableau vivant per day. It could be pretty entertaining. Which might mean that I need suggestions on which works of art to recreate. So what has your quarantine fashion looked like? What sort of fashion choices are you guys making that are excellent right now? Magnet sweatshirt and North Cobb sweatpants. Like embrace the sweatpants. Yeah, shorts and t-shirts. Yep. Every day is jean day right now for me, which is exceedingly exciting. I don't even need a jean pass to do it. It's very good. Excuse me. I will be very happy when allergy season is over. This is not my favorite time of the year. To try to see if maybe I can. Wonder if that's available on YouTube. Wonder if it's public domain. Huh. I'll have to look for that. You have decided to play Just Dance for an hour every day. Hey, that's a good workout. Nice. It's a good pick. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of yoga. because it calms me down and it gets me moving a little bit, and it helps me stretch because I've been sitting for so long. Usually this is about like the morning is the part of the day where I'm sitting a lot, and then the afternoon I'm up and wandering around while I'm recording things for you guys, or I'm doing yoga or cleaning and stuff like that. But I do spend a lot more time seated than I'm used to, so I'm trying to make sure that I do something else. Yeah. Sorry, the pictures are slightly crooked and they're driving me nuts. I did enjoy the new ceiling fan flip grids. They are my favorite. You know, I'm gonna have to like, maybe what I need to do is start putting in requirements for things I want to see in your flip grids. Like I especially enjoy when people put their pets in their flip grids. That makes me very happy. I like those. hmm So put your pet in your flip grid, or doodle yourself on paper and film that. I like that. That's a good one. You could do that. You could, let's see, what else could you do? Find like an actual physical picture that you like of yourself and then like hold it up to the camera. That would be a way to do it. Or you could put a sibling or something in front of the camera and then just like make them like tell them to keep moving their mouth, like, and then like dub over it. That might be funny. Yeah. But yes, the ceiling fan flip grids are my favorite. I have also been, let's see here. What else have I been doing? I have been playing a game with my sister online, as well as with my best friend. It's super fun. And it doesn't require you to, I mean, it's really dumb, but it doesn't require you to download anything. It's run through Chrome, and you can actually play a friend live. So what you can do is you can create a game. It's basically just like table hockey, but you play it on your computer here. There you go. Bop, bop, bop. There. So like, yeah, so it's called Cube Slam, and it is basically like a version of table hockey. And you can either play solo, where you play against a bear, and the bear is very good, or you can play a friend. And if you play a friend, then it like generates a code, and you just drop the link to your friend, and it'll use your webcam, and like you can see your friend and you can talk to them through the game, and it's super fun. My sister and I played it for like an hour or two last night. It was amusing. I enjoyed it. I am a fan of games that are free, that don't require you to download anything. It's good. She also wants to start playing Uno, and I'm like, Uno is a great way to ruin your life. It's hard to forgive a +4. So I haven't seen Sydney today. Is she all right? I know she was. Oh, no, she was here at the very beginning, right? Yeah, she was here at the beginning. I know you guys were really upset yesterday because, you know, Anyone want to try the game with you? What you could do is just like generate the link and then drop it into chat, Catalina, and whoever jumps on it first, you could play. It's a fun game. I do recommend it. It doesn't require much in the way of skill. It won't let you send the link? Oh. Well, maybe like message somebody? Text? Mhm. Ah, you've been doing psych vocab. Okay. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Yeah. So what do you guys think about Mr. L doing like grade specific tea times for you guys? So you can have just like a time for seniors to kind of hang out and chat. Do you think that's a good idea? You would like all the grades, but a few specific that are grade specific wouldn't be bad? Okay. I've also been trying to think about what I want to do for next week, guys. So, would you like, I don't know that I can promise like an hour and a half of live stream every day, but would you like a dedicated time to check in to do a live stream or to do a Zoom? Like, would that be something you guys would want? Would you want it every day, every other day? Like, what would you like? Because believe it or not, my social calendar is kind of wide open. Yeah, I think so too, Sydney. I'm kind of worried about it myself. I know we all are. Because on the one hand, like part of me is like, it's my time off. It's your time off. You should have time off. But time off from what? Right? Like, I mean, I won't say that like getting online lessons together is easy for you. It's not. And I'm pretty much working until 5 every day, if not longer yesterday. But it gives me something to do and it gives me some structure to my day. So I am worried about all that just time because it's not like we can go anywhere, especially not with the stay-at-home order. So so I am concerned about people just feeling kind of unmoored. So I would like to give us a little bit of structure. Um, so maybe I'm going to sit down and try to come up with um, things that I want you to do every day, um, just for fun. If I can figure out, hmm, Uno maxes out at 4, right? I mean, we could have, if we could come up with a way to come up, I've got to see. I'm going to sit down this evening um, and see if we can do, if we can figure out what, if there's like games that we could play all together, that sort of stuff. Or if we could sit down and have like Zooms where we can chat or that sort of thing, just so that you can have some sort of structure to it. Hmm. I'll think about it. Okay. And as bad as it is, and it is really awful that school is canceled, at least physical, you know, as awful as it is, and as sad as it makes me, there is something nice about knowing. Like now we know, and now we can work off of that, right? So it's sucky, but it is certainty, and that does help. Yeah. What could we do? Sorry, drifting off and trying to think. Can't. We'll get there. But at any rate, let's see here. What other things have I enjoyed? Oh, this is a good one. I don't know. Does anyone read the webcomic XKCD? I love it. It's one of my favorites. Some of them are inappropriate, but this one is fine. Here is a webcomic for you on the subject of quarantine. Oh, you might have to like delete out I'm not sure why that. I guess it still works. Okay. Yeah. You'd like a Zoom so that you can see everybody because it's not complete without everybody. Yeah. Okay. All right. So maybe we can come up with some time for me to host a Zoom for you. Okay. The problem is that I probably need to do a waiting room with that, and that sucks. But because there have been some real dummies out there who think it's funny to crash into educational Zoom meetings with minors and drop off really inappropriate things. So we don't want that to happen. So I'll probably have to do a waiting room. Yeah. Which means that the Zoom doesn't start until I like approve you. Mhm. But with everybody on mic, it might be a tad chaotic. Well, we might have to establish some rules, establish some norms as it is, you know? Like basic rules about like how it works because otherwise, yeah, you're right. Everybody jumping in at the same time is a bit much, right? And people not realizing like that you can't have a million conversations at once. Um, I mean, I suppose I could do things where I cap the room out at like 20 or something like that and do multiple, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah. It's quite beautiful out today. Is anyone planning on getting some time outside? What are you going to go do? Kind of want to go sit outside and have lunch, but if I do so, I will spend the rest of the day and probably tomorrow coughing. So that's not a good idea. It's too cold in your house for some reason. You might go outside and take a nap. Oh, that sounds lovely. Take a nap in the sun. The other issue is that if I go outside and eat lunch, my neighbor is mowing their lawn, which is good. That's fine. It's cool. But it is kind of loud. It's too cold. Like I could be like my mother and say, if it's too cold in the house, put on a sweater. Or I could say, if it's too cold in the house, go sit out in the sun. Yeah. Yeah. Alani, I'm with you on that, man. My allergies are, they're not good right now. It's no fun. Like, it's pretty outside. I would at least like to sit outside. It would be nice. But if I do that, I know that I will pay for it later. So what can you do? Suck it up and suffer, I suppose. That's the only thing you can do. The orange has started to come into this. I have so much orange. I think the rest of the rug might just be orange. It won't be, but it's getting there. I'm out of coffee. It's so sad. Which means no more coffee for me today. That is coffee number 2. I'm not allowed more. So, I think the rest of the plan that I have for the day is I need to finish making a quiz for my honors kiddos, and that'll go up on CTLS. And then I have to post the second part of video lectures for you guys on Mexican political history, which includes my favorite portion of political history of Mexico, which is the Mexican Revolution. Me encanta. I love it. It is my favorite. And then, but I can only cover it in like 2 slides, and it makes me so unhappy that I have to cut it down to that much. And then once I do that, I think maybe I will reward myself and or punish myself. I haven't decided what it is, by trying to build more of my little temple palace thing, because this is as far as I have gotten. I have not done any more work because I got so frustrated with trying to put one of the dormers on this thing. And then I lost a piece and I couldn't find it. So then I had the brilliant idea to take a bunch of little magnets, which I have. Hang on a second. Where are they? I have a bunch of like those rare earth magnets, and to throw them onto the floor and roll them around in the carpet, because I was like, it's hiding from me somewhere in the carpet and I can't find it. And if I vacuum, I'll lose it. So what am I going to do? Because the piece is a little tiny thing. So I took a bunch of these and like put them all over the carpet and then rolled them together, because I knew I wouldn't lose these because they all cling together, and it pulled it up, and I felt very smart. Yep. So I think this will be my project this afternoon or this evening. And I might put on a movie like, I don't know, The Princess Bride or something like that, and just kind of chill out. Or possibly, the Met Opera is streaming Nixon in China by John Adams today, which is a really interesting opera. And I might watch that. So that might be my plan. Mhm. So it is noon, guys. What's your plan for the day? Because I have got to log off and get some other stuff done. Yeah? What you gonna do today? Any plans in particular? Well, whatever it is, I hope it's good. I hope you take it easy. Be kind to yourself, okay? Yeah. And reach out if you need help, yeah? We'll get through it together. Go wash your hands.